Oh, that's it. Okay, we're live. Finally.
It's my glass thing.
What glass? Yes.
That glass.
Alright, sorry about the background noise. It's Dwayne's just cooking.
It's the kitchen.
These are our kitchen talks. We've decided we're just going to be a reality show. So we're reality, you know. So we've decided we're just going to do our own reality show and film ourselves talking in the kitchen and in our living room and in our office and on our balcony and just in our living spaces, and we're just walking and talking, just so we can share stuff. And sorry, as I said, so Dwayne's just cooking rice in the microwave. He's probably there, but he's running because he has to go to work soon. Because I've got a special guest coming over today for a special reason. We're interviewing each other, and Dwayne is sharpening his knife for the curry. And you can see I have a bag in the background, a red checkered bag in the background in the laundry. The red checkered bag has actually got, Papua New Guinean designer wear, because I love Papua New Guinean designers. Absolutely contemporary, and their quality is excellent, especially Drew Douglas from Dumai, and Taboo, Iara, and Kapilu. There's quite a few. Sarah Todd, and you're missing out if you don't know these labels. It's such a shame, because all it takes is money for these labels to be known. Anyway, so we've decided, well, I decided, and my husband and Dwayne's just like, that we're going to just do this on a regular occurrence, because we have some insights, I feel, that may be of use to people. I'm not here to give advice. Fuck that. I'm not here to say, to fig jam myself. If you don't know what fig jam is, it's an old Aussieism and Australianism, because look, I know Australia's got its problems, but yeah, I love Australia, and I love the settlers. I love First Nations people. When I'm talking about modern Australia, I love that. I grew up on it and in it in the 80s as a teenager. And Fiji was very influenced by it, but also Fiji was very influenced by the UK and US as well. So, and Europe, we were very multicultural. So, where was I with this? So yeah, we've decided to just do a show. I don't know why I was talking about the 80s and 90s and stuff. Darling, do you remember where I was going with this? Sorry. So anyway, so
much information there.
I know, it's too much. So we've decided I was going to do the headlines, news headlines and stuff like that, and just do these things. I can't remember what I was saying and why I actually did that. I wish someone would help me out here and actually also tell me. So no one wants to tell me anything. Anyway, I really don't care about being watched, and I'm not here to give advice. So I don't remember what I was saying about Australia. Fig jam, right? It was something we used to say in the 80s, and it's also, if I need to give you warnings and disclosures, you're in the wrong place. I really shouldn't have to give you. I'm going to swear. Okay, so fig jam means fuck, I'm good, just ask me. Which, it's a way for Australians to, that tall poppy syndrome. Australians are so cutting, so sarcastic, and then there's Fijians, and then there's Fiji sarcasm. Wow. I mean, it happens with a laugh, and you're like, damn, what just happened? Did I just get cut down? Anyway, it's fun. Okay, so yes, I'm not here to give advice. No one asked though. But I was talking about pathological lies yesterday, and I just want to continue because I'm a little less heated up about it, because I got emotionally manipulated, and I was reading articles about what to expect next from the emotional manipulator, and sure enough, textbook shit. I got the email, saying, or the message saying this, and I respect you too much, and I won't let you do this to me. I'm like, mate, I barely know you. It's single white female in the brown form. And the reason why I am actually now finally starting with the harmless ones. Well, this one I'm coming down hard on because this person has an account. Oh, my husband's going to give warnings because he's also... I'm just going to show you what my husband's doing. Right? I can turn this around, so excuse me. Darling, what are you doing? It's beautiful, but I don't know what you're doing.
I'm cutting up the garlic ginger chili.
Right. For those who came in late, the legend is Sandhya loves food. Sandhya knows how to deconstruct food. She knows what the flavor is and where it came from, and some history added in too. But she does not know how to cook.
Oh, but her palate is something.
And we make such a team. Dwayne and I ran a restaurant, and it was incredible. We should talk about that someday. Anyway, we do know flavors, and we are actually going back into that because people love your food. And together we make a lovely team in how we create things. Okay, I'm going to go back to talking. I don't even know what I'm saying. So, hello. Yeah, Big Jam. Thank you. So all these great Australianisms, I loved Australia in the 80s and 90s. Oh yeah, Fiji and Australia in the 90s. Oh my goodness. Sorry, this glare. Sorry, is it because I can see that the glare from outside is sort of blocking my eyes. Anyway, I hope you're well. Whoever's here, or if you're not, I don't know. But regardless, we're just going to do it. I'm just going to do this because as I said last night on the live on Facebook, I want to cut out the time in between, the profit, because I could put all of these things into a book, and I think I'm not a hustler, so I can't promote things. So I'm always like, well, who wants to read about me? I mean, why don't you just ask me or listen to me? So this is what I'm doing. Other people want to make a profit out of it, a profit out of their trauma, a profit out of their lives, a profit out of their experiences. But I do genuinely believe that there are people who do need to chronicle their lives and do it their way so that they can share who they are and what they've been through and what it meant for them and what it didn't mean for them and what it looks like for you. Because there's a lot of people who are creatives, who become famous or become well-known, who don't really understand because they've moved on to the next thing they want to create. Because creators, true people of talent, want the attention on the talent, and usually they want it rewarded financially. And then great, if you guys want to praise the artist, the talent, fantastic, but we're on to the next thing. And just so that's why I guess a lot of famous people use fame to hide behind, and because they just want to create or they want to lie. There's the hustlers who are always hitting the pavement, like the J-Los of the world, who look the way they do because of olive oil. Olive oil. You're right. And okay, I might as well start talking about AJ. Look, she looks great for a 52-year-old. I'm a 52-year-old. This is what, look, I'm at a window where this is what society calls a genetically blessed 52-year-old looks like. And I am of Indo ancestry from an island. We don't, we don't really sort of crack and stuff until we get to like 80 or 85, and then all of a sudden it's like, then all of a sudden all of life just starts showing on your face. But like my mom was 80. My beloved mother was 80, and her skin was amazing. My demon father too, he was gorgeous. I really should talk about that as well. Apart from aging, I should talk about the fact that even though I talk a lot about my trauma and what the demon father did, and also the privilege I grew up with, because he was also extremely brilliant and charismatic and a go-getter, and he just achieved he was really focused, and unfortunately he had a weakness inside him that needed to take out the rage and frustration. He couldn't cultivate something else out of it. Because we know what it takes to get somewhere. If you really, really want to get somewhere, we know what it takes to get there. And sometimes it can be so frustrating if you are a person of what they call color, but is a person of the global majority. So, look, there were good times. This is why I don't ever dwell on the trauma. My mother doesn't have time for the trauma. She had me to love. And my brother, I forget about my brother. Yeah, him too. Look, my brother and I were best friends for a while, and then he gave into his trauma. Unfortunately, my brother was born with trauma, because by the time my brother was born, my mother was 38, and she had really been battered and defeated. Because strong men, the stronger the man, the weaker. You have to see what makes him strong. If it's all about the external, then you have to understand that his core is weak. And that's why that kind of strong man, if it's all external, when that kind of strong man wants to go for a strong woman, it's to feed from her. Watch who you consider strong. Watch your heroes. Who are your heroes? Look in the mirror and ask yourself who your heroes are. Or fuck your heroes. No, fuck that. Who are the people that you align with, who inspire you to be the best version of yourself? I really do judge those things. I perhaps should actually... Anyway, so I was saying about aging, right? And then I was also saying about my father. So in amongst all that trauma and privilege, there's also some really good times. My mother knew how to grasp the good times. So there were times when we, particularly in our really, really traumatic years, when he would try, because he was, the more successful he got, the more he had to vent. But he would travel a lot too, and so we would sometimes say, no, look, we won't travel with you, even, we would travel a lot, but when he would travel a lot, we would have such great times at home. My mother would just be laughter and joy. She was so fun. Take us to the beach and take us over here, and he wouldn't let us.
You mean like you?
I'm like my mom. So I wasn't born with trauma, even though, because I think my mother did have so much love. She thought her love could change him, and the occasional violence she had to endure, because he also was extremely passionate. I know my parents had an extremely passionate sex life. I've caught them once or twice, and I know I've seen photographs of them when they were young, and they were just so sensual and so beautiful together. I loved it. It was just beautiful. So I'm so grateful, because I'm filled with that sensuality, and I have my partner. I have my DNA match, so it's great. Anyway, so yeah, there were great times, and there were also great times with my demon father, really. But my mother never talked badly of him, and she refused to let us dwell on these things, and she refused to dwell on it. Women of that era, my God, my mother was. I love Wonder Woman. I don't want to be Wonder Woman, and we've talked about this on our podcast, Radio Fly. Like, my mother was Wonder Woman. I want to be Wonder Woman's best friend. I mean, Wonder Woman was my mother. I have a superhero, my husband.
I think you're the superhero then.
Mate. Anyway, and then so that's what I just want to say. Now I want to go back to aging. If your role models for aging are in reality. These are women all around you, women who have now hit their 50s, who are like, fuck, I feel good. Society wants me to feel not so good. Society wants me to say, oh no, look, my life is all for my children now. I never fell victim to that. My mother's selfless love of me made me kind of selfish in the best of ways. Made me, and my husband gave me tea. His ginger tea. Yep. How many minutes do we have left on that thing? Anyway, he's doing that for the rice because, as I said, Dwayne is running late because he has to go to work. But he's making chicken curry because we have a special guest coming over to interview me, and I'm interviewing her. And we're both veterans of our industries and respected veterans, and this is a big deal, and I'm really excited. And I'll probably post about that later. Oh, we've got some frying action. I don't know where to look sometimes. Okay. If I look at the lens, does it look like I'm looking at you? Can somebody say yes? Or does it look weird, like too intense? So if I look at myself, I can't really see too much, and I feel like I'm looking in Dwayne's direction. Because if I look at myself, my eyes are over that way, and also I can't really see because I need glasses to see this close. My not low res, not high res. My high res vision, my big picture vision is really, really good. And that's my thinking too. There are people who are big picture thinkers, and there are people who are detail thinkers. So Dwayne's a detail thinker, and I'm a big picture thinker. Anyway, that's why I digress a lot, because I can see all the things. That's why women are really great. Women can just go, yeah, assess the situation. This is why women are actually, this is why I don't understand what people don't understand about women. Women make great coaches. And this is why women, we've said this before, right? Because we've been talking about rugby, because both Dwayne and I are rugby connoisseurs. We used to love rugby. Dwayne still watches occasionally. I love because, the Wallabies are just not...
Who?
Yeah, them. And I used to be a rugby journalist or a writer. Or very selective, actually. I was actually a fan of Stephen Larkham, and I wrote about rugby occasionally. But through it all, through that era, I became an absolute rugby lover. Because, I grew up in England, and India has rugby because it was so colonized and colonial. But only now is rugby getting big. And if you're anywhere on Facebook or Instagram, where are we right now? Anyway, on Instagram, Rugby India, fantastic. The focus is on women's rugby in Rugby India, and it's so good. I know that we all get fed this by media, that India is a terrible place for women, and it's hypocritical because they worship goddesses and they do this to their women. It's not really the case all over. It's just because they have that number of population, and males are fucked up all over the world. Okay, it's just ratio. And speaking of India, because I was going to talk about news headlines, so I was also going to talk about aging, and I am talking about find your role models in reality that are all around you. Look to your mother. Young women, look to what your mother is and who she is. And, she's loved you through everything, through menopause. And also, don't be scared of menopause. I know they want you to think that menopause means that it's the end of your sensuality and sexuality, and that bye-bye sex and bye-bye orgasms. Bullshit. The more orgasms you have, the better your body will love you. It is now, when you're free of the fear of fertility or the burden of it, this is now the time to enjoy sex. I really, really think women shouldn't have sex. Should be really, really picky until 30. Don't have sex. Really have sex with your mind and flirt and be sexy and, in an ideal world. Not utopian, because this is a world we can be in. In that kind of world, women can just be as sexy as all fuck. Wear whatever they want. They don't get touched until they choose. Oh, yeah. It's like my husband. I'm always because it is only now at 52, which I have to say, before I go on to talk about India a little bit more, because they're just making headlines in the news for wrong reasons and great reasons. So it is only now at 52 that I feel as sexy as I do. And I have to attribute to that yum over there, that deliciousness, that beautiful, beautiful man who is just absolutely. I am a binary woman. I am binary inside myself. I have finally connected with myself. My 1 and my 0 has connected, and the power is on. I'm a woman. I don't need to quantify that, but everything is normal. Everyone is normal. Me saying I'm a woman doesn't mean anyone else is not anything that they wish to be. But anyway, also I think wisdom and there's a lot of people who are peaking now, who are this bullshit cancel culture, which I see is coming to a bit of an end. It's like, I'm sorry, all you have to do to cancel culture is you people think you can cancel me. My own father couldn't kill my mother and me. Don't think so. Oh, my own best friend couldn't succeed in strangling me to death 25 years ago. So, anyway, sex in your 50s, when you found yourself, when you know who you are, you have an orgasm with every cell in your body. The cells or atoms, we have some 33 trillion or some ridiculous amount. It's beautiful when you have sex with your DNA match. That energy may be in anybody. In mine, it came in this beautiful man. And more mind. We connected as mates and colleagues first, you know. Oh, and the respect that we had from the get-go that he had for me, and just, it was never, we talked about this in another live. I don't know if it was the live on Instagram or the live on Facebook, but that's, yeah, it was live on Facebook, so I may have to post excerpts, or I can say it again here. That when we met, Dwayne already, because in the country of our birth, I am respected in a way that is very humbling. I'm given a status that I see as responsibility. I know some of you are going to roll your eyes. Don't fucking care. I do see it as a responsibility. People who let you occupy their minds in a way like, look, she's cool. I want to see what she's doing and what she's saying. And she's great, you know. That's so lovely. That's so nice. So you see it as like, okay, well, I'm going to let that hold me accountable. And this is the other thing we were talking about, fame as well, darling. I'm sorry, I'm just talking.
No, that's fine. I'm cool.
We were talking about fame, and that fame should hold you accountable, but people use fame to hide behind for good and bad reasons. For good reasons, because a lot of famous people are actually really shy people. That's why they become actors. Actors become actors because they are able to adapt to another persona altogether and just leave themselves, but understand that they are, their vessels are anchors. And I find that fascinating. Musicians, singers, they channel all this stuff through their heads, and artists and painters and illustrators and photographers, what we see, models, art and everything, designers, weavers, printmakers, God makers, the people who wove those stories. I have digressed. I really should write all this down because I need to go back to the India news story, but I was talking about how it feels. Yeah. So we started from a core of respect. And that has always been it. And he's never, and I took great risks in a way I never do. Like in Fiji in particular, because I'm so known, I'm watched. And therefore, because Fiji is such a small place with big personalities, people love stories. And if they don't have a story, they'll make one up. So you don't add fuel to that. And I've always been very particular because I'm aware of the bullshit people like to spread around me. I may have not seen them. I walk past them. Next thing you know, oh my gosh, she's such a bitch. She ignored me. Like, sorry? Okay. Like the pathological liars conversation I was having about yesterday. This young person, she's acting like we're in a relationship. Like, I've met her barely, like, for a few hours, but she projected a lot of stuff onto me, and I don't want to hurt her. But I know you're lying about a lot of things. So watch the live, to know that I also don't care. Because I understand why liars lie is also why I forgive liars, as long as liars are truthful and factual about why they lie. As long as you are transparent about the lies, I think as we talked about yesterday, darling, everyone lies. There's good lies, there's white lies, there's necessary lies. You can't be truthful because truthful is pure emotion, and that hurts people. You can't be factual because factual is emotionless, and that hurts people. So, where were we? I was talking about also aging and stuff. I think that needs to be a separate thing where I actually write things down. And if you have questions, if you want to ask questions about menopause and stuff, there's, I know there are other women my age around who have things to say, etc. And young women, don't be afraid of getting older. I'm sorry that these are the messages you're getting, and it's terrible that bloody Vogue magazine brought out a cover with this Eurostream. Just to explain what I mean by Eurostream, because I no longer say white people, because I don't think that's they're white people in all races, so it's not a skin shade thing, it's an origin thing. So Eurostream, because that is the current dominant society. So Well, I've lost my thread. I'm so sorry. What was I saying? Shit. The models, the supermodels, and they are of course supermodels. They deserve that title, or do they? Because they should be supermodels and then age naturally. If you have to try that hard to be what you used to be, then no. Yeah, they were all given the brand supermodel. They don't really necessarily call themselves that, I don't think. Or some of them are proud of it because they earned it. But then they shouldn't try so hard to look like young women, because they also now, like, what are you hiding? And what message are they saying? I would prefer to see them. Can you imagine these women, these supermodels, if they had just left their faces alone? Can you imagine how they would have aged? Like one of them hasn't she hasn't life shopped herself. But they Photoshop her. But I think she's on one of the supers, she's on go look for Christie on Vogue Mexico, I think, and they've not touched her face up, and she looks gloriously hot, sexy, sensual. It's like, this is a woman. I love Robin Wright aging, and it's like, look, I know you're going to say everyone has the right to do whatever they want, but because of that has led to some severe problems. Young women are unsure of themselves at 20, filtering their beautiful, youthful faces and skin at 15. And you're not supposed to have beautiful skin. That's the anomaly. That's where the teens are where your hormones are erupting everywhere, your chemicals. Teens and 20s are where you push your boundaries and find out who you are. That's where you find out your ethics. Morals are what people tell you. Morals are what society tells you. Ethics are where you go between truth and fact. You find your logic. You find what you are prepared to do to get what you want. Some people say, well, I'm going to be ruthless. I'm just going to take no prisoners. And I just thought, no, I've been hurt. My mother has been hurt. I'm not going to hurt anyone deliberately. I'm arrogant that way. I really want to be able to get to where I want to, at the top tiers of anything, without destroying others. I'd rather get there in harmony and in association with others and on an equal level. So that's where equity comes from, if we're all on an equal level. So that's going to lead to a question I'm going to talk about. A question Dwayne has asked previously. What? I can't tell. Right. So, what would you do with something? And that goes to that everything should be equal. We have this episode on Radio Fly. We said, what if we were white with all our talents, etc., etc.? What if we were white people? Well, for starters, I'm very, very glad to be me. It's not that I don't want to be anyone else or anything else. I also really, really love myself. Because it's taken a lot of work to get to that point. You really do have to work at yourself. You've got to confront yourself. Confronting yourself doesn't mean you just tell everyone you've been traumatized, this is what happened to you, blah, 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 and then nothing. And then you're considered strong. Actually, no. That's the start. It's like a fashion parade. Everyone thinks everyone in societies that don't have industries. Excuse me, I've got a cough. I've been talking a lot. Do you want to say something? Excuse me. This is a live show, so you're going to have to expect me to take a breather for a few seconds. Darling, is this your drinking glass?
Yes, it is.
May I have? And what
Absolutely.
May I have? And also, what is the time?
It is 10:20.
Oh, our guest will be coming soon.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So this won't be a long one, but so that's what we're talking about. Equality, etc., etc., and some interesting conversations we've had on Radio Fly. I love being Indo-Fijian. I love being of Indian ancestry, and I love that I'm from Fiji. Love, love, love. And I feel I've lived the best of all worlds. Dwayne is also from Fiji, and he's triracial, and the best three. He's indigenous and Indo-Fijian and Chinese, and I love those communities. I love all the communities. When we live in harmony in Fiji, we're all so good together. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Diwali is a good time.
Diwali is a good time. Rugby wins are a good time.
Yeah.
Diwali and rugby unite. Diwali and rugby unite, Fiji.
In general, it's a good time all around, yeah? But there's just some shit going on there.
In the world. There's shit going on in the world. Now, I was saying something about, I love being from where I'm from, blah, 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 but we talk about the barriers, actually, not just obstacles, the barriers. Now, there are people like me and a few others, young friend like Sigrid, understand the concept. There are people who understand the concept even if they can't see it. Because when I bring it up with people go, bing! So, I can see the doors that are closed and the frames we have to go through. But what I don't see are the walls. Like, there's no constructs. I can see that this is all just bullshit. All these dominant society rules and regulations and what they tell the people of the global majority that we are or aren't. It's like, but hang on, aren't we the majority? What the fuck you talking about, bro? Anyway, I shouldn't talk like that. Sorry, this is alone me as well, because I have said this before. I have a very intimate relationship with the camera, where I forget that I'm actually talking to people, and there may not be anyone here, but I actually forget that there are people watching. So I don't, this is who I am. But if you see me in real life, like when we meet on the street, I'm actually reserved. I'm very reserved. And now that I'm complete and no longer fractured, I don't really need anyone outside of myself. I'm complete. I just want, and that want makes me realize I need. We're each other's, purpose for existence, because each other's existence makes us happy, makes me happy, and the happier I get, the more I want to give to the world, to share. The happier we all are individually, the more we want to do for everybody else. It's great. And then you have people like my mother, who's so sad, but so loving, so caring. This the stepdaughter of my half brother. I call her my niece. So I'll give her the little sister title. She's got a good head on her shoulders. She's told me a few things, and my mother has comforted her through that, and I'm annoyed at that. It's like, well, did you know what my mother went through? And all these things, because we have to also talk about choices. Because up to about 18, everything is done to you. After that, I'm sorry, but you have choices. As an adult, how you are is a choice. And you may say, that's bullshit. Some of us can't choose to get out of a country that's torturing us. Some people can't, choose to, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry about that. But what I'm saying is this. I know, like, for instance, gay people who've had all these bullshit things happen to them. And the more the ancient countries, the more like India relaxes its stances, archaic stances on things like same-sex marriage and etc., the more places, like, I think someone else, a South American country, has banned these bans, and the fractured states of America are banning things left, right, and center. My God, a war on women, a war on, gay people. Anyway.
Yeah, that's what someone said, right? First world country, third world practices.
Someone close to us has said that. Just because they live there now, and they said it's really third world. That's why they have Hollywood. It's propaganda. It's public relations. People don't realize that the world is run on public relations. I want to talk about that too, but right now I was talking about something else, which I've forgotten. I'm going to talk about something else. I'm talking about aging. I think I should dedicate a separate live to that with structured questions, because it's terrible what we're doing to young people. We're keeping young people enslaved and masked and filtered, and we're making everybody plastic. AI has been with us since the 50s. We've always had it. But don't get all too by putting on filters and stuff, you have given AI permission. So anyway, I want to talk about these supermodels, what it takes to be a role model. I wanted to read out the news headlines, and I'm actually, my husband has disappeared. Actually, he's gone to that probably evade, because India has had quite a thing to celebrate right now. They've and of course India is fractious, and everyone India, this India, but yeah, I love India. Okay, I love India, and I as I said, I feel so favored. I am, I have Indian ancestry. I was born in Fiji. Oh, mwah. And to privilege. But I paid my human tax. I had that thing. And I got the best of all these worlds. And because Fiji is a microcosm of the world, there's personalities and people from everywhere. Those of us from a certain time in Fiji are very sophisticated. We had the world. We weren't just, we didn't just have Australia. It was UK and US, and our influences were from all over the place, and we were very innovative and creative. It was amazing. I was talking about fashion as well, which I'm also going to do. Hello, honey. I am also going to talk about Fiji Runway in a separate live, because I'm very proud to be associated with Fiji Runway. We're media partners, the Style, and I will talk about that too, because this is what I'm also talking about, what fame is necessary for, and the only purpose it serves me is that it helps me shine a spotlight on the people who need spotlights on them. The more of a spotlight I have on me, the more I can expand my platforms. And also, hey, we need money, okay? People of the global majority now need to be paid. We've had enough exposure. You're still using us for optics. It's all very great to use us on the surface, but you've got to use us in the decision-making situations, on those boards, on those tables, behind those closed doors, okay? You're going to have to give me a moment because I've got to check a message, so excuse me. No, give me one moment. Give me 1 moment, sorry. Sorry to do this to you, people. I'm sorry to do that to you. I just had to send a message, and I do have to go now, but I want to continue all these conversations. But India has just had an absolutely good thing to, they've just landed on the moon, the 40th nation to do so. And they're the first to land on the south side. We'll talk about this in depth because I really, really want to do that. But I had equated something else to a fashion parade. I can't remember, but a fashion parade is just a launching pad. So the designer now has to take that. So people think the fashion parade is the culmination of all their hard work. No, that's somebody else is giving you a platform to shine, that they're using their spotlight to shine a spotlight on you, like what Fiji Runway is doing. It's Kai VP, founded and run. I want to have a bigger conversation about this, and we'll invite Fiji Runway, and let me know if you have questions. I'll let you know ahead of time. But honey, Dwayne is cooking chicken curry. Hang on, let me show you. I do have to go soon, but let me show you. Right now the curry is not. It's sort of happening, but I'll post up photographs. Dwayne is an exceptional creator of flavor, tastes, and as I said earlier, we've run a restaurant together, and it's just been amazing. And yep, he's got, learned from his mother and also your father, and just, but mostly you, because you also, when you were studying, you learned with chefs, where are you? With chefs, but with fine dining chefs. So Dwayne's got all the fine dining tricks, and I'm a wanker when it comes to fine dining. I love fine dining hospitality. I love silver service. I love fine dining. All my life I have we must fine dine this month, every month. And Dwayne and I carry, we do this, we love it. And because our tastes are so bland now, we're so terribly disappointed. Our fine dining and our lovely, lovely things that we want happen with us. We make it, we create. Oh, the chicken curry. Done, honey.
And the potato.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, oops, I should have said apologies. This is meat. Oh, sorry about that. But anyway, we were talking about chicken curry, so there you go.
Yeah, that's fine.
So, yes. Darling, what was I saying? Damn it! Sometimes I don't even remember what I'm saying. I can't. I digress. But I do have to go, okay? And but we'll talk later, and we'll talk about Fiji Runway, and we'll talk about fashion, we'll talk about my experiences, we'll talk about India being the 40th nation. Fine dining. I want to just finish this up because I want to talk about these things. Thank you, my darling. My love of fine dining came from Fiji. Ain't nothing like a colonized country to show you the colonizers' etiquette and ways. We used to have a fine dining culture in Suva. We used to have, in the 80s, we used to have European restaurants galore. We had, I learned advanced French. And in my class, in higher classes, before I went to boarding school in Australia, there was only 3 of us who ended up in that Form 5, advanced French. And it was Priya Bajpai, a Gujarati Indo-Fijian. I like to state that we don't we say that as that's just where I'm from. How dare you? But we like to, it's with pride, okay? And an indigenous Fijian, Robin Maibusoroko, who was brought up in Brussels, so spoke French fluently, and then me, an Indo-Fijian, and we're all in advanced French, learning French from Mrs. Patel, who was a Gujarati French woman. And it was fantastic. This is the sophisticated culture and society I grew up in, with learning all the music of the UK and the US and fine dining and Port Sakhor, Sheraton, Fiji in the 90s. Now, this is another story. I used to live at Sheraton. I used to live on property in Sheraton, Fiji in the 90s when I was peak famous, I guess, early 90s and all that. And I'll tell you that story later. I'll tell you about my fashion years. This is our reality show. If you come in, for those who came in late, this is our reality show. So every so often, we're not going to schedule it, but I'm just going to start talking. I've got to go though. I'm going to talk about fashion. I'm going to talk about Fiji Runway. Fiji Runway, founded by Kaiviti, or not just anyone, just a very special one. And using privilege to shine the spotlight. That's what privilege is used for. And also, privilege doesn't necessarily mean financial rewards. We need money, we need funding, we've got ideas, we've got solutions. You've got to fund us, you've got to fund people like Fiji Runway, you've got to fund us, the Stylander. We have such great platforms that benefit everybody. Benefit everybody. Anyway, I gotta go. I'm being interviewed for something really special, and then I get to interview the person who's interviewing me. Yeah.
Because you're both very special, right?
Hey, yeah. Okay, if you come in late, also, this is alone me. As I said, I talk to the camera like there's no one else there. Anyway, I gotta go. Ooh, spices. Gotta go. Next time, we're going to continue talking about India on the moon, because the most important thing about India on the moon is majority females, women scientists sent them to the moon, and there's some astronauts there too. It's like, oh my God, it's such a great thing. Such a great thing. Next, and like, so Fijians, one thing you should know about Fijians, they're all over the world. We're going to be on the moon soon. Fijians are all over the world. All over. You're always going to bump into one.
Everybody needs a Fiji.
Yeah. Okay, gotta go. Some great things happening on the Stylander too. I want to talk to you about the Stylander. I'm going to talk to you about the news headlines. News headlines will come up later. I'm going to do a recap of today's news headlines. We're doing aging, how I feel about that. This is my 52-year-old genetically blessed according to society face. This is how we should be allowed. Oops, got a little bit of an adrenaline rush because I was sick 2 weeks ago. I'm still recovering. Anyway, and a Fiji Runway, we'll be talking about that and the Stylanders Association with that and why you should get on board, because it's visionary. What that platform is. Like the Stylander, visionary. Get on board the concepts that are taking us, moving us ahead, progressing us. Tradition needs to be flexible, but there is place for it in our progressive culture. This is what we understand. We move with things, and we move everything with us. We flex, and we change things, and we let go of what is not needed anymore. And we keep what keeps protocol, what keeps culture, what keeps history, what keeps art. And then we move it forward. You should see what they're opening the show with. Fiji Runway is doing this cultural installation from a province that very rarely gets the spotlight. It's very special, and that you have a special connection with, because you are Madhuwata, Kai Madhuwata. And if Auntie M, if you're still here, Bulare, you're Kai, and I say hello. And okay, must go, gotta go, bye. God, I talking. And I haven't even said anything. I actually had a list. that I wrote just before I pressed live. I said none of it, except for India's women scientists got everyone to the moon. And Fijians are everywhere. Are going to be on the moon soon. I'm telling you. Otherwise, whatever. Tune in next time for the other things I wrote on my list. Bye. Have a great day, great night. Gotta go. I don't know how to turn this off. Damn it. Okay, bye. Mwah, mwah, mwah.